welcome here today for RWSRL. Today in Tier 1, it is round 9 of Season 9, and we're here in Italy and in Monza. Monza, a historical track, one of the first ever F1 track, and the oldest F1 track. Many memories have been spread across the Italian park, and I'm sure another one is going to be known today. A lot is to be expected and is to happen today. A big day for the championship. And will there be a change in the said championship? We await to see. Unexpected full 20 drivers to be showing their talents on this track. And speaking of this track, there's got historic 11 turns. It is 5.793 kilometres long. Like I have previously said, the oldest F1 track. And in terms of recent history here in RWSRL, in terms of winning success, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, Mercedes and Alfa all share the lonely one. So, are Mercedes going to get the best win success in recent history with a win for Weeksy? Which would be a lot for the championship, as there's only a 19-point gap between Weeksy and his championship rival Aussie. What's going to happen today in Italy, in Monza? There could always be a shift in the championship. There could always be a surprise. I'm sure there's going to be one today. I've got confirmation here that I will be doing co-commentary today. And Cyclone will be commentating with me today. So I've invited him into the party. Of course, I will turn on the option for his audio to be included. Well, I have invited him. He's not joined yet. Let's hope he does. So he joins us for what could be a special race on a special track. There's currently an ad on screen right now. And there's also another man who is live streaming all of the entertainment. And that man is Brad. Brad's one of the admins and owners of such a historic league. Has and is live streaming his point of view for this race. He's going to show and try to showcase what he can perform out on track in Monza. Cyclone is still yet to join my party. In fact, I have invited him twice. If he doesn't join before we start, I just think I'll do it solo then, to be honest. And we are supposed to start quite soon with 5 of the 16 people readying up, as they have already warmed up, they've already practiced, and they are ready to showcase the skills in which they have tried to develop over the course of an hour or so, ready for today's race. Apologies if you hear any background noise. I realise that it is picking up in the party. It's not very nice. I don't think he is going to join. So I'll put it on invite only so multiple people won't join. But if Cyclone messages me himself, well, I'm having a lot of feedback here. People are telling me to invite him and not to invite him. So I think I'll just go solo for today. Maybe he can do it another time. But there's not going to be another time for this qualifying session. And there's not going to be another time for this race. So, as we approach towards qualifying in a mere 19 seconds, it gives me time to explain to you what happens in the championship and what will happen in the constructors. So in terms of the championship between Aussie and Weeksy, they went head-to-head in Singapore with Aussie coming out on top better than Weeksy. I'm not too sure if he won it or not, to be honest with you, but he did get a better result than Weeksy, and that's all that really matters in terms of that race. It's all that he needed to do, and he did do it, which means he has a 19-point gap to Weeksy for top spot. Chris Towles, though, stalks the two at first and second. He is only a mere... Hold on, I've got to do some maths here. Jesus Christ, I'm not good at math. 36 points off of top spot as well. So Chris is also involved in this championship fight between Aussie and Weeksy. He can stir up some drama, potentially, towards the end of this season. My main man that I think we should all watch for today's race is Depth Knights. He's had a good run of form. He won in Zandvoort, if you all remember. There is rain, of course, on this track, by the way. But he did win in Zandvoort. Depth Knights, so he had a comfortable win, really. Coming out on top by around 10 seconds. He was extremely fast. And here, he could be equally as fast. As we know that Monza's all about speed, as well as, of course, the ability to go around each and every chicane with each and every precision as you can possibly get and have. Hold on, lap data enabled. That's what I wanted to go to. And Megan, the first person to come out of their garage, of their pit, and they are going to be first in line to cross the line to start us off here in qualifying. The Alfa Romeo can... I don't know if it's she or he, so I'm going to say they. Are they going to get a victory for Alfa Romeo, which would mean that they would be, in recent history, the most successive team in Italy, in Monza. So there we go. Megan starts us off here in qualifying. As now they will manoeuvre around each and every turn, trying to gain as much time as they can. Well, lose as much time. Thank you, James. That's really helpful. Thank you. So Megan is a she. So she now showcasing her skills. And Megan. Sector 2. I mean, of course, because it's wet here in qualifying, maybe the times aren't going to be as good as maybe as a dry time, which is the ones you would usually expect, of course. So they are going to be slow in terms of comparing it to dry times, but these drivers are never slow in terms of what conditions, what the cards are handed out to them. Never slow. And Sector 2, it's 58 seconds. And Megan. Oh, Harry's retired from the session very early on there. Harry with 0 points on the board in terms of the championship, and he is not going to improve on that And Megan comes across the line to perform a 128.3. Of course, puts in top spot for now. DJ Flux on an out lap. Weeksy. He has to set a good lap time, doesn't he? He has to be the best on the track. And so far, the best is Depth Knights, performing an astonishing 127.4. Is Weeksy going to challenge it? He can't. He doesn't. A 128.4, a second off of Depth Knights. Maybe the pace that we knew from Zandvoort is carrying on to what's happening here today. Codfish comes across the line. P4 with a 131. DJ Flux now with a purple sector 1. So he's performing really well off the bat of his first flying lap. The other Mercedes, DJ, did better than Weeksy, his teammate in Singapore. Is DJ going to perform better than his teammate once more? It's not something we expect, really. Weeksy, talented, such a talented driver. DJ Flux, kind of in the shadow. And an invalid lap time for DJ. So, oh! What an awful camera angle to look at that for. I don't think he has a wing now. He does not. So, spin in the rain, into the wall, and into the pit he will go. Ink starting his his flying lap. Apologies. Ranger here. In the midway section, sort of, in the flying lap. The last few people to put out some times before we go into the second wave of flying laps. You can see a shift there in second spot, and that's Weeksy going for a second flyer in a row, and that is a 127.8, improving a lot on his previous time. Pushes himself up into P2. He's looking to challenge with Depth Knights, of course, for P1. Something we expect from him. Aussie on a out lap. Has never got a pole this season. Is he going to finally get his pole that he wants? And he's driving for Ragnar here, driving for P6. 130.7. Ink now going to come across the line to finish off their time. Remix has left the session, so someone will have to invite them back. I think I will after this from Ink, and Ink going to come across the line. Quadfish retired. Where's Ink going to put himself on the map? Ahead of Quadfish himself. 129.6 for the Raging Rebel. And I'm going to take a look if I can get back for Remix here. I cannot. So unfortunately, I can't invite Remix back for some reason. Oh! Ink in the wall. And Ink having to replace his front wing. Don't know what he's doing there. He's just staying still. So he might be disqualified soon. I think that's probably out of choice. James P here. The other James Kalako, is not able to race with us today, as they are at an apprenticeship. So go on, James, have yourself a good time. Is James going to have himself a good time here, though, on track today? Aussie also on a flying lap here, but I think I'm going to put my attention... Oh, you can see James literally just about ahead of the Aston Martin Aussie there. And so Aussie really going to try and battle with Weeksy. He has been ahead of him so far this season. Is he going to be ahead once more? Sector 2 is not purple. And he's having to let go of the throttle quite a few bit there, if you did hear that. Which I'm assuming you all did. You can hear him just lift off the throttle gently, smoothly. Just lifting off the throttle. And eventually he will come across the line to set a lap time. Of course, Chris Town setting a lap time, James setting a lap time, but Aussie's lap time is only P3. 128.3, I'm saying only P3. It is only one off of Weeksy, the title challenger. And so Aussie will be looking to improve on that. James comes across the line into P6. And Chris Towns came across the line in P5. The Aston Martin is not performing too bad in qualifying so far. cringe now inside of the Williams? Is his lap going to make us all cringe? Or is he going to come across the line to push himself maybe into the top spots? I haven't seen him drive before. A new talent, a new area for me to see. And for us to see, as he will come across the across Parabolica. Such a infamous turn with many scarring memories in both a good way and a bad way. But cringe comes across the line, P7. DJ Flux now in the Mercedes! Spins once more. One more spin in the exact same spot as we saw, I don't know who it was. Was it? I'm not too sure who it was that spun there last time. It might have been DJ himself. So, really, that's giving DJ a lot of trouble. Oh, James is up into P2. My oh my, I did not see that. James. P7 to P2. That's what you want to see from the Alpine as Depth Knight starts his lap time. He, of course, looking for improvement on his previous time, which would secure his P1, his pole position, just the tiniest bit more than it already is. We're going to take a look at it. There you go. 400ths. Sorry. There. Off of Depth Knights is James P. Weeksy, though, 0.3. So, he's got a healthy gap to Weeksy. Not so healthy, much more slimmer for James P. And let's see what Depth Knights can pull off here in this flying lap. We can see someone on track has spun. That is going to be Megan. Fortunately, she not performing as well. And you can see Depth Knights there. My oh my, 0.4 improvement in Sector 2. This is looking to be an absolute stunner of a lap time from the raging Red Bull. As now, he will come round Parabolica. Steadying the throttle, now goes full throttle. Is he going to improve? He does! By 0.3. Lose 1/10, unfortunately, for him. Of course. Oh, my words! Never mind! DJ Flux just said, you know what? You've put your eye on Depth Knights. Put your eye on me. DJ Flux putting himself on the map here. The Mercedes, the Merc. On pole. So far, 6 minutes left to go. Is he going to stay in first place for pole position? Weeksy had his time invalidated. So, very unfortunate for Weeksy. As now maybe the fortune for Aussie, as Aussie's going to look to make a time very soon. Maka here looking for a time. 0.6 off of his previous, so I don't think we'll pay much attention. You can see Chris Downs now in the Aston Martin, was once 5th, is now, of course, 8th, and you can see Aussie there getting past him. He was on a flying lap. Chris Towns, sorry, no, Aussie was on an out lap. Chris Towns on flyer, so I don't know what that was about. And still, maybe Depth Knights will come. Maybe his Depth Knights going to come in. Maybe he'll just go and be a little bit cheeky there. Aussie now going to start his lap, in which it could be a big one for the championship today. It could all twist and turn into ways, into a specific way, which would go in the favour of either Aussie himself, in which we are looking at, or it could shape into Weeksy's favour. So Aussie, he in Sector 1, is he going to improve? Is he going to get a purple? He really needs to get a fast lap time here. He's 0.08 there off of his previous time, going around the curb, not looking too fast around that chicane this time. Maybe this isn't a good lap time for Aussie. I think Weeksy's going for another lap. He is. So Weeksy's going for another lap, the second flyer. He saves them energy. Says to himself, you know what, I'll go again. Aussie going again for the second time here. and doesn't look like his lap's going to improve. We will watch until the line, though. That was a very poor few turns, almost spinning there. I don't think it's going to be a particularly good lap for him, and I've had a lap time here for Weeksy as well. So the two title challengers not really finding their form here in Monza. 2/10 off of his previous lap time is game changer, not really changing his previous lap time. It will stay that way, at least I assume. Brad's now going to come around Parabolica. What is he going to say? He's yet to set a lap time. He's now going to set one. What is the Alpine going to perform? And across the line, it's a 127.7. So it puts him into 6th, just below Weeksy, just ahead of Aussie, just separating those two from each other. We'll see how that pans out for the race. As Flux in the pits, Depth Knights in the pits, Maka is not. Maka in P3 goes ahead of James. Depth Knights went ahead of James as well, so James dropping down the order. Depth Knights definitely isn't, no. So DJ Flux and Depth Knights with 2 Ds at the top of the grid for Monza here. We've got 2 minutes left of qualifying. That is what's most likely to happen. Weeksy in the pits, Aussie in the pits, Maka. I don't know if this is their actual flying lap. And Ragnar out of nowhere puts in P3. That is an astounding lap there. And oh my word, look at the time Maka setting. 5/10 off of his previous lap. This could be a huge lap. This could go ahead of DJ Flux. Will Maka in the Haas car gets provisional pole here for Monza? Maka across the line. Maka pole. The Haas car flies himself into pole position with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. Will he, with an astounding 126.7, keep pole position going into Monza? Wow. I mean, what a lap. That's 3/10 off of Flux's time. I mean, that is truly astonishing. How has he done that? We are just having the final flourish, the final laps, in which is being performed by the drivers. I think Depth Knights is going to be our main focus. P3 ahead of course, DJ Flux, so he will, perform his lap time before, unless if it's invalidated, of course. But Maka, what a lap time. He's had his Weetabix. Jeez Louise. 126.7. There's nothing better than that. Or is there something better than that? As now we study Depth Knights' lap time, trying to manipulate his car through each and every turn. There's no one behind him. He's got clean air. So now into the first turns. Maka in the pits, and Maka has retired. And Brad out of nowhere! Brad snatches pole position away from Maka's hands and holds it notoriously high. Brad, an astounding time of a 126.2, has flourished himself up into pole position, in which he is going to potentially be taken down by the likes of Depth Knights, as Depth Knights is improving on his time rapidly, 4/10 off of his previous time, now 8/10. He's having an absolute astonishing lap. He's going to have to improve 1 more tenth now to get pole position. Ragnar stolen pole position. Pole is being handed out left, right and centre, and now it's James who steals it. Is Depth Knight's going to steal it? He is! Pole position! DJ Flux going to come round Ascari. Weeksy in Ascari. What can Weeksy do? He's got pole. His teammate though, Flux. He's got pole. Who else is left? Cringe. He's not on board. He's P7. Game changer. He's P9. And the Merc of DJ Flux snatched it away from his teammates. Pole position being bounced around like a hot potato. And it's burned into the hands of DJ Flux. A 1-2 for Mercedes going into Monza. But the Merc, who outshines the other one, is DJ Flux. DJ Flux starting P1 in Monza. Well, speaking of the other drivers on the order, we have Weeksy in P2, Depth Knights in P3, James P in P4, Ragnar P5, Aussie P6, Cringe in P7, Brad P8, Game Changer P9, Maka P10, Megan P11, Chris Downs P12, Ink P13, Codfish P14, Remix P15, and Harry P16. What an entertaining qualifying session, and I'm sure the race is going to be just as, if not more, entertaining. My oh my. That is the entertainment that we all expect from RWSRL, and, well, they've all delivered it. Every single driver gave it their all at the end of that qualifying session, and I expect nothing but more in the race. Apologies for this, folks. I'm just starting a party. It's just so that I can see what's picking up on my microphone and what isn't. That's all it is. But now, 12 seconds away. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second. The formation lap will go underway. And DJ Flux leads the way. And let's take a look at the strategies. Who's on who. And Weeksy with hard to mediums. DJ Flux with medium to hards. So, of course, on the start, DJ Flux is going to get the better stop than his teammate. Well, that is the predicted outcome for Weeksy. Depth Knights in the medium. And so forth. So from P3 all the way to P9 is on mediums. Maka in hards. And Ink in hards. So only 3 people on the hard set compound. The rest of the 16 drivers, which, if you do the maths, is 13, are on mediums. That includes Aussie, by the way, if you are wondering. We are going to await to see what happens here in, I mean, the qualifying session is the best ever qualifying session I had ever had the pleasure on commentating on. Just what did we see? I mean, I still can't really process it. But this man came out on top. So DJ Flux leads the way, and DJ Flux, with everything to lose and nothing to gain. He just has to make sure he maintains this position and shadows and and glints of the Netherlands performance. If it factors into this race, it would surely mean that he would win the Monza Grand Prix. But are those little glints going to happen? Or is the pace of this Merc going to outshine the rest? Or are they going to not have as good of a start as we are predicting? A 1-2 for Mercedes. Will it stay that way? All the drivers are lined up. All of them are ready. As now we watch the 5 red lights. Green light! Go, go, go! Here in the Monza Grand Prix, Chris Downs easily getting an overtake there on Megan. And Weeksy instantly up into P1. Had a much better start than DJ Flux. Death Knight's looking to go down the inside potentially. The Mercs looking to just battle with each other. DJ Flux, is he going to get overtaken? I don't think he is. A spin, and you can see a gap forming between Death Knights and Ragnar already. You can see just behind, Aussie overtaking James. Round the outside in Curve Grande they went, and Aussie looking to hunt down Ragnar up top. Is Ragnar going to be able to defend against the Aston Martin, who has been lurking for multiple overtakes left, right and centre? We will have to see very soon. A gap between DJ Flux and Weeksy forming here of around 6/10, and Weeksy will hope that that continues out throughout the race. Aussie still looking to hunt down on Ragnar. Death Knight's looking to gain a position on DJ Flux here. And right now, onto this straight we go. He's got the gain on the Mercedes. He's got the speed. Is he going to be able to get an overtake here? Red Bull getting close. Is it close enough to go for a move? It's not. Maka with an overtake on Codfish. Right there, as you can see. And just behind, you can see Ink and Cringe going too wide here into the first turn. You can see Death Knights, though, getting very quick on the throttle here. Going toe-to-toe here with with DJ Flux going round the outside and maybe into the first turn. He's going to get a move on Weeksy into the first turn. Maybe a double overtake for the Red Bull. It would be an astounding way to start the second lap. And you can see here with 3 wide going into Curve Grande. This is an absolutely beautiful scene. 3 wide. Eventually Weeksy has to back out. And eventually it's going to be DJ Flux and Death Knights battling for P1. Oh my, just like we saw P1 in qualifying getting passed around like a hot potato. It's happening here in the Grand Prix. Death Knight still looking to get an edge on DJ Flux. Weeksy looking to get an overtake after a very early braking zone for Death Knight himself. Death Knight's looking for a switch back. He broke early once more, but this time to get an advantage rather than to lose a position. He's on the medium tyres. He's got the faster car. Is he going to be able to perform a move here around the outside? He's looking for it. Is he going to get it? A safety car's pulled out here to stop, unfortunately, all the entertainment that was brought to our eyes. But Death Knights, just before this safety car got out, was able to complete the overtake on Weeksy. And Weeksy went P1, went back down to P3, went back to P2, and back to P3. He's had an up and down start. And this is looking to be another entertaining race here in RWSRL. You can see Aussie there. Drops down from P5 into P6. He lost the position just before this safety car. People pitting very early on. I'm assuming that's for wing damage. As you can see Megan here. She's in the pits. And it is for a front wing change. Codfish for a front wing change. Harry for a front wing change? No, he's just very slow. No offense. So, but DJ Flux able to maintain that position of P1. Depth Knights ahead of Weeksy. This brings James P into the equation as he got an overtake on Ragnar. Aussie still stuck at P6. If any of you can do the maths, by the way, it will be greatly appreciated. If you can tell me what needs to happen for Weeksy to go tops, well, it would be greatly appreciated. I am looking at it right now. P6 would be 8 points. 5, 3. Okay, so right now, Aussie's still top spot. And if Weeksy were to win the race, then it would mean that he would be Sorry, I'll be right back. Apologies, folks. So it would mean just 2 points if he was able to win and Aussie stay stuck in this position. They will be equal on points if Aussie is to drop down another position into P7 and Weeksy still wins, and if he drops into P8 and Weeksy wins, then of course that would mean Weeksy takes top of the standings. So Aussie really is searching for the opportunity to get as many overtakes as he can possibly get. Ready to fight back for a top position. Is he going to be able to do it though? Everyone else saw that glitch, right? What just happened there? Everyone else saw it? Looked like a car was in the wall. I don't know why that happens. Just a car steering off track. No, never mind. He's fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it. Someone pick him up. Someone pick him up. You know. But no, the safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap, and we're going to restart here in Monza. A very similar grid to which we started with, but the most noticeable change is Depth Knight's P2, Weeksy dropping down to P3. Weeksy looking to get back at it here against Depth Knights. Will he do it? DJ Flux, though, still leading the way and still will look for the win. Almost getting it straight into Depth Knights. Brad looking to tussle with... why is it glitching? But Brad looking to tussle with Aussie. Maybe Aussie drops down into P7 and then Weeksy goes on to win it, which would mean they're tied on points. I mean, it's all to play for here in Monza. I got information that my mic was really crackly. Thank you very much, James, for suggesting this. If it is still doing this, then please let me know. But, well, green light, we're away here on the restart of this safety car, and Weeksy instantly looking for this overtake. Maybe into the first 10 he'll be able to get it on the inside. No. Depth Knight's looking to keep it. Oh, look, just behind. Look at these three tussling just behind us here. Ragnar getting an overtake on James with a little bit of a bump. 2 Weeksy up ahead. Chris Towns into P7. What happened to Aussie? Aussie in P10. Aussie is not even in the Grand Prix. Chris Downs here, looking for an overtake potentially on Brad. He's not going to get it. Someone please invite Aussie back. Maybe it's just internet issues which costs Aussie top spot in the standings. DJ Flux, though, is P1. As now we hear each and every car drive by, we will see some go for some overtakes. You can see Juan Codfish there getting an overtake on Remix, but Remix, of course, ghosting. So it doesn't necessarily matter that much. Chris Towns looking for an overtake here on Brad. He's got the speed on the straight. Parabolica, no, he has to stay behind. Pretty much there. Can everyone see how glitchy this is? Oh! What? Why is it so glitchy? Mackie getting an overtake on Chris Downs as well. At the back of the grid here, we're getting performance in front of us. It's so glitchy, man. I don't know why it's doing this. Please stop. Please, game, stop. Stop being glitchy, please. Thank you. So, James with an overtake on Ragnar. Qualification with an overtake on Harry. And it all just seems to settle down just a tiny bit more. Depth Knights still in P2. Weeksy still in P3 with a 1.5 second gap. I'm assuming the gap just really formed because of that one touch from behind. I think it was Ragnar who performed that touch. When both James and Ragnar went side by side into the first turn. He's at the back of the grid. Well, maybe Why is this so glitchy, man? This is really annoying me now. But here's Depth Knights. Is he going to hunt down DJ Flux for an overtake here? Down the inside, he could look to go. No. Does not want to make any mistake here. Remix getting an overtake on Harry. All the action seems to be at the back. But unfortunately not at the front. Oh, well, Remix goes there. So. Now back up over to Depth Knights. Depth Knights still hunting for this position. And for possibly a dominant display. This time in a different country though. See just behind Megan. Just Aussie looking to think about this overtake. He is back with us. He is in P10. And you can see Depth Knight's getting extremely close here to DJ Flux. Goes very wide into that turn though. It's going to cost him quite a few tenths of time. But on the straight, is he going to be able to get an overtake soon? And Megan way down the order and into the wall. And with no front wing. There's a safety car out. Oh my word, there's no way. Safety car, really? From that? A little bit annoying. DJ Flux in the pits. Depth Knights in the pits. Weeksy in the pits. Everyone seems to be pitting. But except for Chris Towns. Except for Ink. Everyone else, though, is pitting. What's DJ Flux going on to? I think, are those the hards? They are the hards. So why is Weeksy pitted then? For mediums. That's very early on. He had hards. He had the hard compound tyre. I don't think that's a good move from Weeksy. Putting strategy very early. Yeah, he only had 8 laps of the hard tyres, unless he absolutely burned them out, which then, fair enough. But otherwise, I don't see why you would do that. Oh! That is genius. Wait, Depth Knights is on the soft, so he's really trying to hunt down DJ Flux. So DJ Flux could be looking like a sitting duck. But I do know why Weeksy's on the mediums. It's because he saw DJ Flux pitting and he saw Depth Knights pitting, and he was thinking, oh golly gee, those two are going to be on the hards. If I pit onto the mediums right now, I will have a extra gain, a boost on the restart of the safety car, and therefore look to overtake the both of them. But the plan didn't really work out the way he would expect, because Depth Knights goes for a risky strategy of his own with putting himself onto the soft. So he is really looking for a good start of this safety car, which I'm assuming, and we are all predicting, that he will get it. And we'll wait for the restart. We'll wait for the cars to catch up. We'll wait for what could be another scene of drama, as if we haven't already seen enough scenes before. Ragnar overtaking Corfish. I mean, it's a full-course safety car. I don't know why. And Megan, did their spin get caused by Aussie himself? Because if so, that could mean a penalty at the end of this race, formed by the stewards, of course. I wish I kept my eye on it, because then I would be able to see whether or not it'd be his fault. We know Chris Towns definitely did. I believe it was Chris Towns. In Parabolica, just kind of nipped onto the Alpine's car. The Alpine being Brad, and then span him into the wall, down the order, into last place. So surely that'll be a penalty at the end of this race for him. It was, I don't know, if it wasn't Chris Towns, I don't know who it would be. I believe it was Chris Towns. But we now wait for Remix to catch up with everybody else. So, let's see what happens. And you can just hear there, by the way, if you cannot hear the game volume, tell me and I'll fix it. But if you can just hear the zips of the engines for each and every car just zooming. Even when they're going slow. I mean, it's just a sound which you could play on repeat for ages, but you would still listen to it and you'd still go, my oh my, like, I will never get bored of it. And that's the beauty of racing. But as well as beauty of racing, there is of course a downside. And will Chris Towns experience this downside now onto the restart of this safety car? Both Chris Towns, Inc. and Harry all chose to stay out. And is it going to pay off for them? As you can see, DJ Flux here looking for an overtake on Harry, potentially into the first turn. He is going to look for it. I think Death Knights just has to stay behind, really. That's what he'll do. Weeksy having to defend against the Haas car here. Is he going to be able to do so? And you can see right there, Death Knights just sneaking in to get an overtake there on Harry. So is Weeksy. So both Weeksy and Death Knights getting the overtakes. What is happening behind? You can see just drama conjuring up and forming. DJ Flux a span. And he is in 13th. And Aussie in P6, Goldfish spinning. 8. Megan, if she is to get an overtake on Aussie and Weeksy were to win, it would secure top spots. Inc. letting his teammate Depth Knights go by. Of course, Depth Knights on those softs going to be much faster than everybody up top. But DJ Flux to the highest of highs. To P13, a crash, a fall, and DJ Flux in P13. Well, you can see right here, just look at Depth Knights. I mean, Chris Towns has to just wave him by. Goodbye, he says to the Red Bull, as now Depth Knights comfortably gets P1, and you can see Weeksy there having a sniff at an overtake. Is he going to get it though? Is he going to get a better exit? He is. Is he going to get the overtake? Weeksy versus Inkstar, and is he going to get it? You can see just side by side here in Curve Grande. On the exit of this though, Ink having a better exit into another chicane. Maka just lurking behind. What's going to happen here between the two? I think Weeksy's going to get the overtake done and dusted. He does. Maka looking for an overtake here on Inkstar himself. Is he going to get it? Trying to go round the outside. He's not going to be able to look for it. Well, he did look for it. He didn't actually complete it though, unfortunately for him. He stays stuck in P5, but Weeksy just slowly climbing up the order, hunting down each and every car that comes by. He's in P3. Maka, can he get an overtake for P4? No. Maka on the straight, Ink with a 3 seconds, so Maka is P5 right now. Also, with me and Aussie's... Oh, sorry, no, P4 right now, Maka. With me and Aussie's P5, so... each and every mistake formed by this driver. No mistakes by Depth Knights there. Just look at the speed he has. I mean, astounding, really. I mean, he's almost off, so it's expected. But still, seeing the Rebel just absolutely fly past is always entertaining. Down the inside, Maka's looking to go on the Rebel, who isn't really showing as much as his teammate. You can see those two just really having long contact on the wheels there, going on the inside. Now into Curve Grande. Are they going to be able to keep this clean and tidy? Still, the Rebel looking to still keep the position. You can see Aussie lurking behind. What's going to happen here? Into the next turn, into the chicane. Maka gets the overtake done and dusted. Is Aussie going to get the overtake on Inkstar here? Almost touching the two. Aussie being forced to stay behind. Maybe not so much right now. You can see how close Aussie's getting. And really, Inkstar slowing up, just opening an invite for Megan to get an overtake on Aussie herself there. But Ozzy himself looking for the overtake. DJ flags out of the Grand Prix! And that's another safety car! And that is heartbreak for the Mercedes. And from pole position to in the early stages P1 to then officially crashing out, and that helps Depth Knights an absolute ton, helps Chris Towns a ton, Weeksy not so much. I mean, it still puts him in contention for P2 and onwards. Ozzy's not pitted, still staying out on the hards. Depth Knights, though, was P1, now P5, but we all know that eventually Codfish, Megan, and Ozzy and Macca will have to bow down to who is reigning supreme out of everybody in the Grand Prix so far, which is this man. He goes on the mediums, Chris Towns goes on the hards, Weeksy goes on to the mediums. Okay. Interesting. That's very interesting. Weeksy just pitting for a new set of mediums. Is he going to go for mediums all the way? I mean, if there's more safety cars, I don't know why you wouldn't. And, well, Remix has left the session, so he's yet again ghosting. But Macca, he is as white as it goes, because you can see the colour of the Haas car. But I can assure you he's equally as fast as everyone else on track. Maybe just a tiny bit more by maybe the likes of Remix and maybe James P. We saw that he was one of the people who did take P1 in the latter stages of that qualifying session. So we know he still has the pace. I think he did end up P7 though on the order. So it's not like it was an amazing lap time. But for what it was at the time, it was very good. And will Macca be able to keep P1? It is a big task for him to do so. What's happening with Remix? What on earth? Is that glitch like actually there, or am I just... I think Remix is just having a mental breakdown. Is that still... What? Maybe when Macca comes over here, is Remix still doing that? Is he? Yeah. So, Remix having a mental breakdown and being last on the grid. Macca just passing him by. He's first to the grid, of course. But, yeah, someone go speak to him and calm him down. What on earth is going on? What is going on, man? What is this? Will the safety car come in at this lap? Because, of course, Remix is still going to be there. When I saw that Remix was, like, paused on there, I was kind of like, oh, Remix, he's spun or something. So I went over to him, I was like, what has Remix done? Go over to him, and then we just see that. I'm like, what? So safety car is in this lap. Okay, so it's not like we're going to have to wait for Remix to stop having that mental breakdown. We are going to restart with Macca up top. And Ozzy could be hunting for that first spot, which would indefinitely, if it was to end like that, would put him top spots and would gap Weeksy just that tiny bit more in the podium spots. Sorry, in the in the standing. Sorry, I had to really clear my throat there. That was odd. But Macca dictating and manipulating the pace of each and every other driver on the grid. And now he starts pushing and he starts to go. But Ozzy follows just behind. You can see Megan. Will she move up another position here on Aussie. Aussie looking to go down the inside potentially there of the Haskell. Mac around the outside. You can see Codfish is looking to go. You see just a tussle behind. I think that's Weeksy there battling with Depth Knights. It was. Weeksy had to just go behind. You can see Chris Downs, Ragnar both spinning. No, it was just Chris Downs that was spinning really. Ragnar just lost the position. You can see Brad getting an overtake on his teammate James. Maybe Ragnar will be able to get a sniff in there. He won't. Instantly, the other Alpine shuts the doors on the McLaren. You can see Depth Knights now looking for an overtake on Codfish very soon here onto the straight. Maybe to go down the inside. No, Depth Knight stays behind. Weeksy just following suit, trying to get an overtake where he can on these two. Depth Knights flying past Codfish. Is Weeksy going to follow suit? Down the inside is looking to go here. And yeah, he gets that done and dusted pretty easily there, Weeksy. And oh no! Aussie's out! Aussie's out! We have another safety! But this time, instead of it being like the game changer or the rest of the grid, maybe not as important people, this time, it is a man who could be potentially knocked off his throne. All that Weeksy has to do is to just win this race. And he will lead the way going into next week's race. Weeksy, this came from a mountain to climb. He was staring at a peak. But now that peak has flattened into a pathway in which he's looking to explore. And Weeksy, with the chance in the latter stages of this season, if he is to get P1, if he is, then it would give him so much confidence going into the next one, as he would reign supreme over every other driver, including Aussie himself. This is a huge, huge moment in the championship, and it could really shift the way in which not only does Weeksy see it, but also in how Aussie sees it. Aussie out in the Monza Grand Prix. What? What have I just seen? We were on board with Weeksy as he was looking to go for an overtake. The only car he did overtake was Aussie. And we saw Aussie into the wall and ghosting, and we saw him still and disturbingly looking at Weeksy as he flew past. Aussie was left behind, and Aussie is going to be left in the lobby as he now has to deal with the cards dealt in front of him, and he has to realise the situation that this is a massive moment in the championship. I mean, what is going to happen? I mean, Weeksy has to win this. I mean, no matter what happens, if he gets, 10th and above, he will, of course, gap between Aussie and himself will just go down a little bit more. But he's not looking for that now, is he? He is looking to overtake him in the standings. He has to do that via a win. I mean, if he is P3, then he's only 4 points off of him going into the next one. And if he goes P2, then he's 1 point off, but to actually overtake him, he needs P1. But Depth Knights, is he going to just disturb it? Safety car in this lap. Weeksy at the ready. And no matter whose fault it was. Ragnar's DNF, by the way. Okay, pretty much, no matter what happens now, Renix still having a mental breakdown, Jesus. But no matter what happens now in this race, Weeksy will be in the points. And he will close the gap down. If he even is 10th, he will close that gap down by just the singular point. But here we go. We're back underway here. We're going to ride on board with Weeksy. What's he going to do here on the restart on the safety car? Is he going to look for the move here on Depth Knights? No, he's just going to fake it, isn't he? There's no way he's actually looking for that. We know he's too smart for that. And you can see just behind, you can see the Red Bull getting all out of shape and going off track there. That's Ink. He's got 3 seconds to his name. Chris Townsend on overtake on Brad. Weeksy still looking for that overtake on Depth Knights as we fly past the Williams. Oh, a little bit of a spin on the exit of that turn. You could see Weeksy getting all out of shape. And, well, P3 wouldn't be bad, but it's not what he's hoping for here as James looking to get an overtake on Fish. And now James looking to go on the inside. Now he's going to have to deal with just staying behind just this one bit more. Maka now, he's going to try and have to defend here against Depth Knights for top spot here. We can see James, is he going to get the overtake? Sorry, Maka and Depth Knights just increasingly plummeting. Juan Quadfish and James going head to head here with Chris Towns just lurking behind. You can see he could get a double overtake here as Depth Knights takes P1. Maka looking to go down the inside here, looking to fight for this position back. Down the inside he looks to go. Contact between the two into the first turn, into the second. Is there any more? There won't be. And Maka has to just deal that he is in P2. And Weeksy doesn't hunt down a Red Bull. He now hunts down a Haskar. James P, though, still looking for the overtake on Quadfish. These two going back to back again. Jesus Christ, that Williams scared me. I forgot it was there. Oh, my word, I had a little mini heart attack. Oh, my word. And, oh, you can see James all out of shape. And you can see Ink with a great exit and gets the overtake on Quadfish. Weeksy still searching and looking for an overtake on Maka. I'm sure he'll get it soon. He's 1 second behind Depth Knights up top. Weeksy has to stay behind just a one bit more. Brad with an overtake on Codfish. Codfish really plummeting down the order. And now Weeksy onto the straight. He's got a much better exit than Maka. He will get an overtake on Maka. There's no way he won't. Into Parabolica they go. This has turned into many of the fates of drivers so far in this Grand Prix. They're getting very close with each other, Weeksy and Maka, but I think Weeksy comes out on top. And he does. Onto the straight though, you can see Maka. Wow, look at that speed! Wow! Maka flies back past, and Weeksy back down into P3. This battle is not what he needs for the championship. He needs to try and get past Maka as soon as he could. He did get past him, but Maka just got a speed boost. And he had an absolutely astounding speed coming back down that straight, and he got the overtake as soon as he could. And he got it with precision. But Depth Knight still P1. Maka P2. Weeksy P3. Chris Towns P4. Ink P5. Brad P6. Codfish P7. James P8. Not James Kalaka, but James P. And Megan P9. Remix P10 technically, but I don't know if it's going to count or not. I still don't know why that's happening. But you can see Maka getting very close here to Depth Knights. Depth Knights just going off the pace a tiny bit here. James P with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Not what he needs. Weeksy still getting close to Maka here, the Haskar. And is he going to spin? You can see just kind of lost a little bit of time there, Weeksy. He's still going to get some good speed on Maka though. Maka with the fastest laps. I mean, he's really getting some good speed. Well, Big Star instantly takes it back. But still, Maka with some good pace here in Monza. And he's going to have to go toe-to-toe with Depth Knights very soon. So we get a nice helicopter cam of currently the race leader. And he's looking to expand this gap on Maka just that tiny bit more. But Maka is closing it down quite quickly. I think Maka is going to give Depth Knights a run for his money. But he has to stick behind just yet. And Weeksy could be looking for an overtake quite soon. Well, Maka is definitely staying behind now. He's lost quite a lot of time to Depth Knights up top. Just Sector 2, not the best of sectors for him. He's still closing that back down, though. So, I mean, it's all in terms of speed here, and Maka has got plenty of it, but so has Weeksy. So now we go on board with him on the straight. You can see James P and Codfish going side by side here. Codfish having to back out of it, and now could be backing out of P8 as now Megan looks to fly past here for P8. Is he going to be, is she going to be able to get the move done? They're literally side by side going into Parabolica. You can see that view there, and then here comes Weeksy looking for the overtake very soon here on Maka. Is he going to be able to get the move done and dusted? Inkstaff with the overtake on Chris Towers. Back over to Weeksy though, cannot look for it just yet. You can see James P with backing out on Codfish. You can see Megan getting the overtake on the Alpine, but James P looking to come right back at it, and the Alfa Romeo does come out on top. And here's Depth Knights still P1 with around 6 laps left to go. And you can see Megan and James P going at it once more. James P with an overtake this time. And, oh, what was that, James? Don't know what it was, but it does mean, of course, what's happened here? I think that's just because James P was going really slow there. Anyways, Weeksy though, P3, and still hunting down on Maka. This could result in a very entertaining battle. A 3-way tie potentially for top spot. Weeksy loses a lot of time to Maka on just how much he went wide on that turn. I think we all saw that from the rear view. See Megan getting so close to Juan Codfish. This is some great battling at the back. Megan getting an overtake very soon here on Codfish. Codfish though coming right back at them here, side by side through Parabolica. Megan with the better exit. Is Megan going to get the overtake done and dusted? You can see how close Codfish is though to the Alfa Romeo. They're just going they're very close with each other here. Into the next turn now. What's going to happen between the two? Round the outside, Codfish looking to go here on Megan. Into the next turn. Is the move done and dusted? It is. Codfish back up into P7, but I'm sure Megan will be getting back at him very, very soon. Well, this man really does need to win, and unless Depth Knights spins, won't look likely. Yet again, Depth Knights with a great showing of pace. And I was in a party before with multiple lads who are and who have had raced today. And I told them, because they were all betting, either Weeksy, Aussie, to get the wins. This Megan goes around the outside. Oh, that's a big touch between the two. Eventually, the beautiful battle comes to an unsatisfactory end, with both of them spinning and crashing. They're not out, of course, but just losing a ton of time. But like I was previously saying before, I said that in a lobby with a bunch of the guys who have had and are racing today. Oh, Weeksy with a big look up. I told them, they were saying, who's going to win? Weeksy, Ink, Chris Towns, Aussie. But I said to them, I was the only one that picked it out. I said to them, guys, you're not underestimating Depth Knights, are you? And then I think Remix and he went, that's a good shout, And I'm like, it's a very good shout, because Depth Knights have had an absolute ton of pace in Netherlands. In Singapore, he was great as well. He got a little bit fortunate near the end. If he gets a little bit more of that fortune, he could win this race. It's what I said to them. And, well, it looks like my prediction has fallen perfectly into place, because Depth Knights leads the way on the 24th of the 27th lap. He leads so far in Monza. He is just looking to experience that last turn and experience the satisfaction of winning yet again another race for this season. It would be his second win of the season. It would bunch him and put him above his rival Inc. for P6. DJ Flux, he would go ahead of DJ Flux. Brad, I don't think above Brad though. Would he? He would go above Brad. So this win would tie him with Chris. If Chris didn't get any points, of course. It would tie him with Chris. I think he just about gets... What is that? I think... You can see how much people are bunching up, and Chris Towns with a big mistake puts him out of the equation. Quadfish and Megan still battling with each other. This time, Quadfish is left to go in the dust. But that would put Depth Knights around P3, P4 territory. Really has been performing well. And maybe it's P5, I'm not too sure. But he's definitely going to be above P6. Such a talented driver, and he's really showing off his skills today. And you can see Weeksy finally looking for the overtake here on Macca. This overtake is crucial, because if he does get the overtake, Weeksy, it will mean it's a mere 1 point off in the championship standings. He's not going to look to go side by side into Parabolica. He's just looking to get an overtake here with just pure speed onto the straight. Is he going to get the speed? He is. Is he going to fly past the Haas car? He isn't. You can see it could be 3 wide here with Inkstar going into the equation. Macca just really dropping back. Now Inkstar's looking for the overtake here on Weeksy. Weeksy protecting this position on the inside. Now he has to protect it around the outside. Big mistake! Oh, somehow no damage for the Haas car. Ink broke so early. It broke so much more, sorry. It's just really, I don't know really what happened, but Inkstar really just slows down. And eventually Macca went into the back of him. Macca going to the side of him now. Down the inside. He's looking to go now into the second turn. He has to stick behind. You can see Chris Towns lurking in the background though. Is he going to get an overtake on the Haas car? They all have to just stay in this formation. In these upcoming seconds here. Into this next turn. Nothing. And I think it's probably going to stay this way. And Chris Towns now maybe looking for an overtake. I don't think he'll be able to get it. He has to stay behind. That gap between Weeksy and Depth Knights is plummeting quite a bit. So maybe we'll have a last lap battle for not only top spot in the race, but also top spot in the standings. Would be huge. But here's Chris Towns. Finally getting good speed on Macca and touching Macca, and Macca spins. Big connection between the two, and Macca leaves the session. He's like, you know what, I've had it. I've had it. That touch was just enough for me to tip over the border, and he leaves the session. So Macca had a strong showing in qualifying. He had a strong showing in this race, but eventually the touch with Chris Towns puts him in a bad position here. And you can see Weeksy really searching for every little bit of speed that he can get to try and get an overtake on Depth Knights. But the last lap, 27th lap out of 27. And Depth Knights throughout all of this has kept his cool. We and I explained so much about his speed in Netherlands. I supported him before this race. I said to him, you know what, Depth Knights would be a great shout at getting P1. He's got P1. He just needs to manoeuvre and manipulate his car and negotiate with the last few turns. And now the last turn to win in Monza. He will surely do it in Italy. Round Parabolica. The Raging Red Bull started P3 and ends up in P1. Depth Knights wins the Monza Grand Prix. An astounding showing by Depth Knights. He gambled onto a soft pair compound tyres earlier on into the Grand Prix, and since then he's been high flying in P1 ever since he inherited P1. Another dominant display, and he comes across the line to wave his Red Bull flag of victory, and he claims the Monza trophy. He finishes first. He started third. Driver of the day is Inkstar, but out of the victory for Depth Knights and Inkstar Driver of the Day and all the drama in between, Weeksy as well has just got 1 point between him and Aussie for the championship. What's going to happen next week? That is a huge race. But this huge race was won by Depth Knights, as now he hovers over the fans and the pit crew, as he alone has won himself today's Monza Grand Prix. So here are the standings for the end of what has been such a astounding display from everybody in today's Monza Grand Prix. So Depth Knights in P1 wins here in the Red Bull. Fantastic race for them. Weeksy starts P2, ends in P2. So Depth Knights and Weeksy, the two Brits, 1 and 2 for them today in today's Grand Prix. So Depth Knights P1, Weeksy P2, Chris Towns P3, Inkstar P4, Brad P5, James P6, Megan P7, Codfish P8, Macca P9, Ragnar P10, Aussie P11, Remix P12, GJ Flux P13, Game Changer P14, Harry P15, and Cringe P16. Thank you all for watching what has been such a amazing Grand Prix, as it always here in Monza. I've been your commentator, Harrison. Thank you all for watching, and good night.